believe in beauty, if that makes any sense at all. I mean, like probably the most foundational tenet of aesthetic belief I have is the function of trying to create something beautiful. And in order to do that, I have to concentrate on perceiving beautiful things, seeing things as beautiful, looking for things that are obviously beautiful, and then seeing beauty in things just pretty much anywhere it might be. And that's a challenge. All of life is not beautiful, and all of any person is not beautiful. Right? So to be able to acknowledge what's beautiful, and I have to at the same time acknowledge the opposite of that. There's 28 solo piano improvisations that I did at Scripps in the little concert hall there that are, in a way, some of my most, I mean, I'm a self-critical, expressive guy, so like I hate everything I do, right? But those piano pieces are pretty close to trying to make a spontaneous utterance that contains an expression of human beauty. I do like poetry a lot. I try and I've spent a lot of time writing it, and so then like you just normally get a message and it just looks like some text in the box, and then mine always kind of looks like this little haiku or something. And I'm like, why do I do that? I don't really know. But there's something like I've noticed, particularly like in like social networking messaging or in regular emails too. Like when I do that, it makes it like you read it in a certain way, and it comes like a piece of music. Like the cadence of the sentence is different than if it was just if it was like a block of text, like a normal, like prose. So we got to think of a name for that, because I think that's what is that? But the other thing I notice about it is you have to really, I mean, I'll send in a little email like, okay, I'll meet you guys at blah, 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 write some simple thing, but then I got to cut it up and edit it and then rearrange it into a little stanza. It doesn't take me 90 minutes to write a message. But if I write a really long one, it can. I'm like the St. Francis of unusual lost musical instruments. They come to me from around the world. And actually, we'll go through here. I've got stuff in here from every continent, all kinds of cultures. And I got stuff from Africa and from South America and from the Caribbean, and things from here too. You know, it's almost like I'm like the dog pound for lost instruments. You know, and so I try and play them all. Of course, there's a lot. I have, in addition to this, I have a temperature-controlled storage unit up in the mountains, full, and I have a 2-car garage at another location filled to the rafters with stuff that, I mean, you just wouldn't believe. But in the professional way, I tend to play instruments that are more common here that would happen in a performance context in North America. So, I mean, I play a lot of piano, a lot of guitar, some percussion. I play the oud, which is the grandmother to the guitar. It's an instrument that comes from the Middle East, and it came across the Gypsy Trail to Morocco, and then came across to Spain. So here's a typical oud, and this one comes from Turkey. You'll see the rounded back, the strings on the front, and that crazy crook in the, you know, like the way the little headstock comes off. And the history behind, or the legend behind the invention of this instrument, right? The myth is Middle Eastern, and they have their own version of the Cain and Abel story, two brothers who killed each other, you know, the biblical story. And in their version of it, the one brother kills the other brother, right, for whatever reason, like brothers do that kind of thing. And the dad is so grief-stricken that he takes his son's body and he puts it in a tree, and then he sits down at the foot of the tree and throws dirt on himself and, you know, grieves and wails and does this whole very dramatic thing for weeks and weeks and weeks. And the body of the son kind of droops down like this, and the head bends back, and then some of the entrails, like the sinews, emerge, and he's finally so deeply struck in his grief he pulls it down and he plays on it, and that's the very deep. I mean, like, imagine that, right? You know, like, wow, you know, I mean, what a culture. And then so the oud is meant to express that sort of really unspeakable emotion. It doesn't have to be grief-stricken, but a lot of times it is. And so the music that comes with this is really, really interesting, and or interesting. It's profoundly expressive. It's insanely beautiful. So anyway, that type of activity, like doing everyday activities that are very common like that, with something of an intention to make it a, I mean, beautiful is a big word that seems like some pinnacle of human expression, but that it has beautiful aspects, or that it has something beyond utilitarian.